Yo, what's good, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be watching G2 Esports versus Leviathan. And the primary focus of this video is to analyze the IGLing of Valyn. Okay, G2 has made a lot of improvements as of the last month, and I think they're in a good spot to make some noise in Shanghai. And really, I think a lot of this is attributed to their fundamentals, but also the way that Valyn calls the map. I think this team plays well together. I think they have a good understanding of the macro, and they do a really good job of making sure that their util usage is logical and helps them put themselves in the right position to hit the right site and get the bomb down and win these rounds. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I've picked 5 of my favorite rounds from this match, and I'm going to talk about the start of round util. I'm going to talk about the logic behind the util that they use, and I'm going to also try to kind of talk about what Valyn's call is, and I'm going to describe whether it's a pre-round call, whether it's a reactive call, or whether it's a mid-round call. Okay? Hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content. A lot of you have been asking for VOD reviews and stuff like that. So I think this will be kind of a mix of a long-term VOD review, but also just highlighting 5 rounds, 5 of my favorite rounds. Hope you guys enjoy this content. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. I really appreciate you guys watching, but let's get into it, okay? So first things first, before I get into anything, I want to let you guys know, in VOD review, when I'm watching a pro match like this, because you can't focus in on individual POVs, your main focus should be looking at the minimap. 80% of the time, if not more, I'm looking at the minimap. The other 10 to 20, 15 to 20% of the time, right, I'm going to be looking at the information here in the pre-round. Okay, on pistol, it's not that important. But I also want to see what util usage people have. And I want to see when they use it. When people use util, I want to see if there's a logical use case for it. And oftentimes there is. Okay, so let's start with this pistol, and I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some of the util usage, and yeah, we'll just get going here. Okay.
Desk is completely correct.
So to start out the round, looks like we have a 4-1 here that looks like a C default, right? With Trent going up B. Now, first thing I notice here right away, I'll take a look and see if there's any irregularities or anomalies in the round. Generally, your initiator player is going to be with the pack, right? So why is Trent going front B? That's my number 1 question that I notice. Okay. Why is he not going C? Doesn't it make sense for him to be with the pack if he's going to go C? So they can scout out the corners and use the eye for the hit. Okay, let's see what happens.
Going home right now. Absolutely. And
so first piece of util that we see here is this rebel smoke. This rebel smoke is really good for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it allows them to scale up into the smoke to potentially take the orb. But secondly, a lot of times killjoys will be jump spotting here, or they'll put their turret out to take the line for them. On this map with 3 bomb sites, it's really important that you take these deep lines on the extremities so that your teams can rotate on defense properly and flood onto the sites. If you don't have these deep lines, it's really hard to play defense on a 3 bomb site map, okay? You've seen this on Haven as well, with people peeking into A lobby and jump spotting down long C. On Lotus, it's the same exact thing, guys, and it's just because there's 3 bomb sites, there's 5 of you on defense, it's really hard to hold all of the sites properly unless you have info on the extremities. Okay, so right away, this smoke does what? Denies the jump spot. The Viper wall on A denies the jump spot over at A. So we've denied vision on both extremities of the map, and then we have Trent working up front B. So let's see what Trent does. Okay, he prowlers B right off rip. Okay, prowlers B. So remember, guys, what is the psychology? What is the call here that Leviathan makes off of this prowler? They see prowler B. So now they think, okay, subconsciously, the initiator player is usually with the pack. Let's get ready for a B hit on defense. Okay, so this prowler's use case is to, number 1, keep these B players engaged and keep them from rotating over to C. The eventual hit is going to come to C. Okay, guys, it looks like they're going to do a contact pop over at C. That's the reason why they threw this smoke. It's so they have no early info on them. The prowler is used to keep these rotators on B from rotating over to C, but also it's used to clear out this door. Okay, this door, the enemy team opening this door and going for a C fight is something that could really put a thorn in the side of G2's strat here, and it's important that they prowler clear this so they don't have to worry about it, right? I hope you guys understand that and you see that this is a very logical use case of the utility, right? Now, it's not logical that Trent uses the prowler front B because, usually you think logic would put the initiator with the pack, but it's logical in the sense that it keeps the enemy team from rotating and gives you entrance into an uncontested site. So let's see what happens after this.
Yeah, does G2 take
Notice
that
there's
as,
no
we
util
clearly
over
have
at
what it
C,
takes to
full
win, or do
contact. They get into this spot here. They get close enough to where they would be able to hear the turret if the turret was placed for contact or for the line. The turret is not here. They feel confident walking through the smoke as a unit. You see how they all come through the smoke at the same time. We got Leaf going out the right. We've got 2 or 3 people coming out the left. Trent is holding the flank, and the turret has his front.
multiple ways of interpreting the same
And they get up
situation.
close.
Can't let the despair win now.
The reason why contacting like this is good, guys, is because this orb molly combo is really annoying. And if you can beat it out, if you can get close and contact up and beat the orb and the molly being popped together, you have really good opportunity at success. Jonah P shoots the molly, and now they can run through the orb. They have good util here, and then they nade this, and then they omen blind. Okay. Now, when I'm watching this and I'm just focused on VOD reviewing, I don't care what happens after they go to contest and get into the site. I'm not worried about any of that. I just want to know what the call was, if there was, and what the logic behind the util usage was. Remember in my IGL video or my VOD review video, I talked about being able to narrow your focus. If you focus on too much when you're VOD reviewing, you're overstimulated. There's too much information. Information overload is a real thing, guys. So we need to just focus on narrowing our focus. In today's video, we're just talking about what the call is and what the logic is behind the util usage. So if we go back, the call here is, all right, let's contact Pop C with Trent prowling front B. Okay? So grab info front B, hold the rotators, and let's contact Pop C. That's probably how it came out of his mouth. This is a set strat, so maybe they have a name for it. Who knows? But that is generally the way that you would call it. It's a very simple call. And this is, by the way, guys, there's 3 types of calls, really. There's set plays or pre-round calls. There are reactive calls. And then there are mid-rounding calls, okay? Those are the 3 kind of calls that I want you to think about. So this call here is a set call or a pre-round call, okay? So in the pre-round, they knew exactly what they were doing. This is exactly what they were going to do. They weren't going to react to any information. They weren't going to react to what the other team was doing. Now, if they were met with heavy resistance here, they might reset. But this is the pre-round call, okay, guys? So let's move on to next round. And I really, really want you guys to focus in on the logic, okay? The logic behind the util usage is very important, okay? This might be my favorite round of the match right here. Bonus round.
And this is where LEV needs to stop.
And I want to give you guys a little bit of background here. This round, G2 ends B, okay? And I'm going to tell you how I know that I'm going to tell you at what point in the round I know that they're going to end B, okay? Or at least that they intend to end B. All right, and you'll start to be able to notice these things when you VOD review and watch matches live. There will be slight irregularities or inefficiencies in the positioning of the team that might hint that they're trying to end at a certain site. Okay, so that's going to be the focus of this round, as well as the logic behind the util usage and how it makes sense with G2's macro approach or macro view of the round. Okay, of the map rather. Okay, so start of round here, we've got a player over at A, we've got a player front B, we've got 3 people over towards C. This is generally what you'll see on a default, and usually defaults, guys, are going to be more of a reactive call. Okay, don't get me wrong, it is a call that comes out in the pre-round, but it's a reactive call, especially on Lotus. So what is this person doing? This person at A is counting the amount of util that is being thrown over at A. These people at C are waiting to see if they're met with resistance on mound. If they're met with resistance on mound, they'll react to that and they'll make a call as a team, okay? So let's put this into action here. Let's see it live.
The momentum from happening.
So what happens here?
Do not want to allow these.
Start of round, we get a fade eye from B, okay? Everybody knows that everybody in pro play knows that this lineup is from B. And so once this happens, paired with this omen smoke here, they know on G2 that there's a good chance that this team is fighting for C mound. Generally on this map, if teams fight for C mound, they're going to go the other way on attack, okay? That's just how it works.
These G2 players to win this round.
So G2 try to one-way this to eliminate the line, and then they go for a Viper Orb here to disrespect this one-way. Aspas moves up, he starts shooting, okay? So now it's confirmed that they are fighting for mound, all right? Generally, your Killjoy player would not be doing this by themselves, but because Aspas has some support, he is up here fighting, okay? So what is the call by G2? Oh, they're fighting C. They're fighting C. Let's go to A. Okay. So this is at this point in the round, I understand that this is a reactionary call by Valyn. This is not necessarily a pre-round call. If they weren't met with resistance on C, they would have defaulted C, because at the start of the round, what did they have? They had their 3x, right? And their 3x is the 3-agent pairing, right? Raze, Fade, and Viper, that are generally going to be defaulting over here. Some teams will have Viper and Omen swapped. It just depends on how they want to play the round, okay?
And the momentum themselves out
So they're met with resistance, and see how quickly they pivot over to A.
and start getting ults online.
Okay, everybody groups up.
Fight over mound control whilst
Prioritization
also
on
contacting
good
up
spacing.
towards rubble. This is unusual.
And so now they're going for jump spots here, and King does a really good job of getting this kill. Now I want to talk really quick about why this is an uncommon play by King. If they're fighting for C mound on defense, generally that means that the Viper and the Killjoy are going to be paired away from that. It's not always a confirmation, but it's generally a good indication that your Raze and your Omen, or your Raze and your Fade, are going to be the ones fighting for space. Now, look at how Leviathan have an entire Killjoy setup behind them. It's very uncommon to see both extremities fought aggressively on defense. Okay, usually it's one or the other. Okay, you try to set up one person on the line so that the other side can play a little bit more nested, and you can play to support that side. Now Leviathan walk up and they get this kill, and Leaf is doing a great job of jump spotting, by the way. He gets a little unlucky here with the timing of it, and he dies. Okay? Now this is where I start to really, really love the calling, okay, by Valyn. All right, and there's no guarantee that this is just Valyn. This could be any agent or any player on the team. But the mid-rounding that they have is really, really good. So I want now to stop and think about what do they know in the round. Start of the round, they know that over at C, they were met with early resistance. So the enemy team is fighting for C mount. They know nothing has happened at B. The turret has been up the entire time. And they know that Viper pushed up A on them and got a kill. Now, what's really important, guys, is Viper and Killjoy are usually paired together because their util synergizes really well. Viper Orb plus Killjoy mollies, right? But they don't know that Killjoy is here for sure. They're not 100% sure. And that's going to be really important to monitor in the way that they mid-round the rest of this this round here, okay? So let's see what they do now, okay? 5v4. They're 4v5 here. They're down numbers. They've got worse guns than the enemy. And the enemy has way more space. They have mount control. They have pretty much have rubble control as well, or at least control of A. They have the deep line at C, and then B is just kind of free space for a lot of teams. Okay, let's see what happens, and let's see if their positioning kind of dictates where they're gonna go.
Job for him. Snake bite.
Okay. Now look at this.
Contact reclear that, perhaps?
All right. Right here at this moment, this is where I know that G2 wants to end B. Okay? Now, it's not a guarantee that they're going to end B, but I'll explain why I know this when we get through the round, okay?
If two players were pushing up on A, surely they weren't also fighting over C. And Mazzino is...
Okay, what do we see here? Look at the util usage here. So I'm looking at the mini-map the whole time, guys. I'm also looking over here a lot of the time when I'm doing VOD review. I'm never looking at the crosshair. I don't care about the way that people are fighting or anything like that. It's all about decisions for me and util usage. They go to Prowler C. Okay, why is this important? Remember what I said about the deep lines on defense? Okay, if a team fights for one of the extremities early, generally that means they're doing it so that they can hold on to the deep line, so that they can play more towards the center of the map, so that they can rotate properly on a 3 bomb site map. Okay? If you haven't seen my Lotus macro breakdown video, I go in depth discussing this. It's a really good watch. I recommend you guys taking a look at that. I can put it down in the description below as well. So what do? They come Prowler C. And what happens? Mazzino shoots the Prowler, and he nests back into sight. Now, this is important. When you're up numbers on defense, a lot of the times, you don't need to fight for this line. Okay? He feels like, okay, we're up numbers. They have bad guns. I'm going to fall back. I'm going to play this safe. And let's see how this has an impact on the rotations for the enemy team. They instantly wall up here at B so that Aspas can go waterfall to help Mazzino over at C. Okay? And now we've got calm going into B heaven. Now, this is where the decisions really start to blow my mind. Okay, guys, pay attention here. Notice how Jonah P goes front B. Now, the reason why Jonah P goes front B, there's multiple reasons. Number one, he wants to look for a kill. Okay? That is important. Number two, they probably want to end B. But number three, he's also scouting out Killjoy utility. And this is something that is very, very minuscule that lots of people would overlook. And I notice it, one, because he's going close here. But think about this specific peak right here. What is he doing? He's listening for the alarm bot. That's what he's doing here. He has no intention of going through this wall. He's listening for the alarm bot. He can hear the turret from right here where he was standing. Here he goes to listen for the alarm bot. And the reason for that, guys, is G2 do not want to end on the site where the Killjoy is at, because they know that it's likely paired with the Viper utility. Okay, they knew that Viper was at A earlier, so they have a good read that Viper Killjoy are on A, but they're not 100% sure that the Killjoy is there because they haven't seen Killjoy at all. So what do? They send Jonah P front B. Now think about this. If the Killjoy was playing C, the turret would have to be here on the box or close here, and then the alarm bot would have to be here as well. Does that make sense, guys? That's the only reason why Jonah P logically would walk up like this, the way that he does. Okay? He walks up, listens for the alarm bot. There's nothing there. So in this moment, G2 Esports have all the information in the round that they need on where the Killjoy is, and they know where they should end. Okay? They've pushed Mazzino off the line, drawn a rotation from B over to C. They've eliminated the fact that Killjoy is over at C. Now they know Killjoy Viper is over at A because Viper showed themselves early. They had a good feeling that Killjoy was going to be there as well, but now they have confirmed info, because if Killjoy was playing C, the alarm bot would have been close or the turret would have been here. Jonah P hears neither. This is confirmation that they should be going out A and going for a B split. Okay? Now look at this. The next thing that's really important is the element of surprise. They don't give away any information. They contact everything. Right? Jonah P gets an amazing kill here on Calm. This is a massive mistake by Calm. This fed them the round, and this can't happen. Okay? But the reason why he's doing this is because there's no Killjoy utility on B. So there's a gap. He's just going for a jiggle. It's a great shot by Jonah P. It's honestly a pretty good jiggle by Calm. It's unlucky that he dies, but it has massive implications on the round. Now he mollies, and they smoke this, and they eye over here. Viper orb gets popped, and they go through A to B. Okay, this is my favorite round in the entire VOD. I really, really like the way that they played this. It shows that they're logical about what they're doing. They have an amazing understanding of the macro. They set themselves up for success. They did a great job of figuring out where the Killjoy was at by using util, and then by putting themselves in positions to kind of go process of elimination and really understand what the setup is globally for Leviathan. This was an amazing round and a great job of IGLing and mid-rounding by Valyn. Okay? Next round. All right.
Away from G2.
This one could flip easily. All has to be broken here. Valyn TPing back. Trying to play this one with the rest of his team as he.
Okay, TP out A. Now this is a round where it's important that we start looking at the ults, guys. TP out A, TP back. Okay. So what they're doing here is they want to bait out this. This is kind of a reactive call. It could be a set call though, but this is more of a reactive call. He TPs out A. If he gets pressured, he TPs back and he lives. The wall is up to give him some safety. Mazzino Omen blinds his TPs on top of Rebel. Let's take a look at the ults that are in play. We've got Omen ult for over here for Leviathan. That's about it. Calm is one off. That's fine. On G2, they have Rocket, and they're one off the Killjoy ult. Okay, so they see here that Leviathan fights for A. Instantly, they know now it's probably Killjoy Viper over at C. Okay, because the Omen blinded here, and I think the Rays didn't show themselves, but the Fade also. Oh no, he did nade. Aspas naded, they Omen blinded, and they throw the eye. So they know that there's a 3x over at A. let's go to the path of least resistance. We have the ult economy in our favor. Let's rocket into sight. Let's grab Killjoy ult on Leaf. And let's just leave this. We don't need to die over here. Let's play to our win condition. This is really, really good identification of what the enemy team is doing in the moment. And then maximizing the amount of efficiency that we can get out of our ults to set ourselves in position, put ourselves in position to go 5-0 up, which is amazing to do on Lotus, okay? In any map. So what do? Look, I want you guys to take a look at how quickly they leave. Look at that. Look at Mazzino. He's tripping. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, whoa, he's gone. He's not below me, right? He still thinks they're behind the Viper wall here, okay? And look how quickly G2 knife out, all pivot over to C. Okay?
Good enough at least to clear this.
And I mean, you see Tex instantly take his way out of C.
And instantly they go for the site.
But there's nothing he can really do about it.
I see.
They take the space, and look at this. Leaf now has ult because he grabbed the orb. Okay, guys, this is what I'm talking about. The logical util usage, the logical decision-making, right? Play to your advantage. This is a really good mid-round call. It could honestly be a pre-round call, but I think this is more a reaction to the A fight. It could be something that's discussed in the pre-round. Hey, guys, let's go out A. If we're met with resistance, let's just leave and go C with the ult. That's probably what he said, okay? And so this is an amazing job identifying what the enemy team is doing on defense, understanding the way that they're likely positioned on a macro level, and then just playing to your win condition by using your ults, okay? Great, great round by G2. Another really good one. Okay, next round here. 1-5. Okay, so Leviathan have now won a round.
The ults are just so important on Lotus.
And so we have this kind of similar start to the round here, right? Now, one thing that's important here, guys, is the fact that Aspas has the rocket, okay? Now, I want you to take a look at this and really understand if Aspas's rocket being online has any impact on the way that G2 are approaching the round, okay? Now, what do we have on G2's side? We've got Omen ult, we've got 2 off of Fade ult, and I think we're 1 off Viper ult, it looks like. I can never see the bottom. This is one thing that irks me. I can never see the bottom here, okay? And then we see a lot of ults potentially coming online for Leviathan. Okay, so what happens? Leviathan has shown, I know it's not in this VOD, but if you watch the entire game, last couple rounds, Leviathan has opened the door over at A and then Omen blinded and TP'd up on top of Rebel, okay? So let's see what G2 do here. They know Aspas has rocket, so they need to be careful. That's why Valyn is the only guy out at Rebel, okay?
Siding factor that we talk about all the time. We're watching these teams
play. Okay, so what happens? He smokes this off, takes control. The round before this, he Omen blinded it. This round, he smokes it off to just take control and eliminate the refight from the defensive side. So now...
G2, they're very reluctant to scale after taking Rebel control because they're worried about that reclaim.
And I agree with the caster here. They are very reluctant to scale because they're scared of Aspas with the ult. They are cautious, okay? So this is good calling, good identification of the ults that are online for the enemy, and they're playing around it well, okay? So now, Leaf is standing here. He hears info that the C door has been opened. He understands that they double peeked front B and that they broke the turret. Now, in VOD review for a pro team, most teams will see that Aspas is usually the guy that is the tip of the spear kind of doing these type of fights, okay? So let's see if that has any indication on what G2 does. Instantly, they group up. And they start to proceed up A, okay? Now I want you guys to take a look at this. Look at the level of discipline, jump spotting that angle, right? They have to worry about op money, guys. Like Aspas could have bought an op this round, right? 29 plus 25, okay? He could have bought an op this round. They need to be worried about that. This jump spot is really good. Valyn is in position to wide swing off of the jump spot if necessary, or even spam the box. They smoke this to deny the line. Leaf is lurking over at C. That's fine.
Because they're worried about what Mazzino could do.
And look at the way that they're systematically clearing these angles and peeking, okay? Now, the other thing that I want to mention is the way that they're contacting everywhere. They're not giving any information over to Leviathan, right? They don't. Leviathan knows that they're probably not B because they just broke the turret, and also Leviathan knows that they have the C line here, so they probably know that they're at A. But still, it's good. But it's good by G2 to not make a lot of noise, And look what happens here. Insane shot by Trent.
What? And how the hell does he get his head ripped off there, Mazzino?
And then they Prowler,
Paranoid, not with a flash to try and repeat and fight this one, despite
and they go quick here over to B. Okay? And here I just want to highlight the call is good, right? There's nothing super crazy in terms of like the way that they approach the round outside of the fact that they're very ult aware. But I really like the way that all 4 agents are in the same vicinity. There's whenever somebody peeks on Leviathan, there's 3 to 4 people on their screen every single time fighting them. And what's really important in this game is to really, even in your ranked games, if you can prioritize togetherness and peeking with one another, peeking with your teammates, you put a lot of pressure on the enemy team to hit shots. And when you do that, they're more likely to miss, and you're more likely to get trades. Okay, guys? So this is a great round here overall. And then I want to highlight this as well. The level of patience that they have, they've got the win condition in their favor. 5v3, they're taking their time. They're dogging through here. Tex just opened the door here.
Tight to the corner. G2, where are you ending? I mean, time becoming a bit of a problem here. When
and then they go towards A, and LEV gets the lurk here, okay? And so this is really, really good. Mazzino does a really good job getting kills. And now they're in a 2v1, okay? So, anyways, it could have gone a lot better, but it got scrappy at that moment. They probably should have ended B because LEV was here, but that's okay. They still end up closing out this round. But I want you to see how logical a lot of these decisions are, okay? Another thing that's important is the last couple of rounds, Mazzino has been TPing Rebel and fighting Rebel. They've shown the ability, they saw that Leviathan had success doing it once. Now the call is to show Leviathan that we have a solution to what you did last round. Okay, you're not going to be able to do that again. And when you're IGLing at the top level, showing that you're a solutions-based thinking team is really what you want to do, because oftentimes if you can show that you have a solution to someone's success, you then make them deviate away from whatever their plan is. And when you make people deviate away from their original plan, they're more likely to make mistakes, guys. Okay? Now, this is the last round here. Okay, let's talk about this. We got 6-1 here. This is another really good round.
They're very much taking risks, and those risks not rewarded just yet.
Okay, so they make noise here. They throw a different eye. They pop their Viper wall up. They TP out, right? And instead of notice something. Instead of Valyn TPing back, he walks across this time. Okay, the last times he's TP'd back and lived. So he doesn't TP back because he wants them to think that he's still over at Rubble. Now I didn't show all of them, but the last 4 rounds by G2, or 3 rather, they've gone out A early. They understand that Leviathan is desperate for a round win here, right? They're probably bought up. They have Fade ult. They're close to Killjoy ult. Like, they want this round. This is not really a round where they're going to full save. They want this round. They think that they can win it. So what do? Leviathan postures himself for a refight with the Fade ult. Now, this makes a lot of sense for G2 to call this because they've been going out A religiously for the past 3 rounds. Valyn knows this. Valyn knows that there's a chance that they'll go for a fight here. And if they do, then they'll just speed up and go the other direction. So this is actually a set call, not a reactive call, guys. So this is a round to bait out A Control, bait out the refight, and then go elsewhere. The reason why I know this is because LEV is all the way sitting over at C. So this is more of a defaulty call. Play it out. So it's a set call, but also based off of what they do, you'll react and call the round accordingly. And that's generally how Lotus goes from the IGLing side.
Not rewarded just yet. LEV dropped down onto another eco, and they haven't found the value out of the ults that they've been looking.
So smoke now by Valyn to block the vision, right? The vision might be like what causes the refight, right? Like if somebody jiggles and sees somebody deep, then they would fade ult through the door and fight here, okay?
The build up.
So let's see what happens.
It's only Aspas that's even been able to use a single.
By the way, the Viper wall is also up at that moment. Then they drop it.
There's no tags, no trails.
And there's no tags. But you see how amazing this is. It's such a good call. Religiously condition the fact that you're taking control of Rebel to bait the enemy team into using their Fatal to re-clear fight Rebel. Right? It's really, really good job. Look at how far away G2 are when this fight happens. They're over here. They're over at C, right? The other reason for this that I haven't even talked about is that this turret has the C line, right? The turret has the C line. Aspas has been watching from B the entire time. They've shown a bunch of pressure the last 3 rounds going out A. They showed pressure this round going out A with a different eye, and then they smoked to block the angle, to block the vision, right? And then it forces Leviathan to go for this refight. This is a great, great call. This is what teams are doing at the highest level. I really, really hope that you guys can take a look at this and maybe start looking at the VODs the way that I do. Start looking at every piece of util and see what the logic is behind it. Oftentimes in this game, guys, all of the calls there's some type of logical reasoning behind it. Anyways, I think that G2 calling is really good. I think Valyn does an amazing job. Josh RT is doing a really good job with his team. And I know for a fact that Leaf is an amazing mid-rounder as well. I'm sure everybody does their part. I really think that they have an opportunity to make some noise when they head over to Shanghai. And I'm excited to see their continued progression. Okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you like videos like this, let me know. If you want me to do more in-depth videos where I'm VOD reviewing the entire game, let me know. I'm also open to doing that, but I know those videos can get really long. This is about 30 minutes, but I think this is important for you guys to see the level of like how deep you need to analyze these rounds. You need to think about all the util usage. You need to understand if there's logic behind it. Oftentimes there is, and when you start doing that, you can start to really increase your in-game like your game sense and your game knowledge, and you'll be able to identify things in ranked or in scrims that you might not have identified before. This is the gym. This is the Valorant gym right here, and if you put the time in here, you're really going to see improvements in your game knowledge and your game sense and your overall understanding of the game and the macro. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if you like videos like this. Share this with your friends, with your IGL, with your coach. I think this is an important thing to do as a team as well. I hope you guys like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.